Where was the pain, Jameis?
Yeah, just pain. It was pain everywhere. So we got to keep on pushing through and being resilient.
Saquon Barkley. I swear, Saquon Barkley is the best. Like, we survived the Giants, and now the Eagles got Saquon Barkley. Lord have mercy, man.
Ball and lines it down the field. Caught by Cribbs at the 8-yard line, up the middle 10. He's to the 20. He's to the 25, 30, 35, 40. He's down the sideline, 50. I think he's going to go. He's to the 20, 15, 10, 5. Touchdown, Joshua Cribbs.
Alrighty, guys, welcome back to another episode of the Fantasy Report. Today, I'm joined by my man, Mr. BraveBirdNews. Walter, what's up? Let the people know where they can find you and what you've been up to, man. Good to see you. Glad you're back, man.
Yeah, been on mostly on YouTube. Been on YouTube for a while. You can see if you search BraveBirdNews or even BraveBirds DFS, you can find me there. I'm on Twitter, but I barely check my Twitter, so just look for me on YouTube.
Yeah, I would highly recommend people go and check out his channel. You know, he's given out a lot of really good plays over there, and I think just your experience in the years you've been in DFS. Like I said, I've only been in DFS since, well, I guess 4 years. So yeah, about 4 years now. But I mean, you said you've been playing fantasy since like 2000. So you're definitely a vet.
Yeah, started with fantasy baseball back in 2000. I think I've been doing DFS since 2019, roughly. That's when it all kicked off. So about 2019 with DFS. I mean, I drafted Michael Vick in fantasy football. That's how long I've been doing this. So it's been a while.
LaDainian Tomlinson days, huh? You remember?
Yeah,
that?
I mean, I drafted
Antonio Gates.
Everybody I used to draft. Only person remaining from back in the day is like Aaron Rodgers, maybe. I mean,
Rodgers. I guess you could say what's his name? Stafford's been in there for a minute too. So.
Yeah. I remember Rodgers and Adrian Peterson. I mean, so I've been playing that long.
Well, that brings us to our first point of today's video. Speaking of ancient veterans in the NFL, we have Mr. Joe Flacco this week at 4K. What is your thoughts there, Brave Bird? Because I know you're thinking what I'm thinking, and I think that this kind of week is a week that Flacco's built for. I think this is like a 20-point Flacco week, and I think that can get there at 4K on a slate where pricing is very prohibitive.
Yeah, definitely. In general, you want to get 3 times the value. So he's 4,000. So as long as he gets 12, he's not going to bomb your lineup, and I don't know how he doesn't get 12 fantasy points. And this line, the game script is totally where he's going to have to air it out. And I mean, he has a much better team, than he had with the Browns. I mean, we can see even week 1 with the Browns, he got 14.2 fantasy points. So if he can get 14.2 fantasy points, you're golden with everybody else in your lineup doing well.
Right. I think you're right on the whole Cincinnati take there. I think he is upgraded due to T. Higgins and Jamar Chase. Jamar Chase is questionable this week with an illness. So he should play, I think. I don't think anything I think he'll play. But yeah, Flacco pulling like 1% ownership, almost 2% ownership. So, I mean, that's where I like to be. I like leverage there. You know what I mean? I like getting leverage on the field.
Yeah, I don't think everybody's been paying attention that he's even been traded. I think some people don't even know he's been traded, because they're not paying attention. That's
right. Yeah, I mean, he's got dude, I think it was what did he get? What was it, Wednesday or Tuesday? Tuesday, I think he got traded, and I texted everybody I knew. I said, Flacco this week, DFS, lock it in. I said, he's at 4K. He's mispriced. He should be at like 47, 48. Yeah. He's about $800 discount. And with a week like this week, dude, it's just so crazy how we jump from, what was it last week? Well, I guess 2 weeks ago, you had a $7,800 Jonathan Taylor. Now you have an $8,500 Jonathan Taylor. Well, and a CMC with $100 below that. So these aren't the slam dunk plays. Like CMC cannot scam his way into this one, that little weasel. He loves to do it, early in the year when he was like 7K. But I don't think it's that cool now at 8,400, and I don't think Mac Jones can support an offense. And I'll say it.
Yeah, and like I said, I'm always thinking about a base of times 3. So yeah, you need McCaffrey to get 25 fantasy points.
He has to get in the box.
I mean, Yeah,
For
there are
him
a
to
lot
make
of good
value,
guys.
he has to get in the box with like 10 grabs. And against a Bucks defense who is kind of a pass funnel, I don't mind it. I just think there's better value on the running back position this week. It's kind of what I'm hunting for. Not as much as last week. We talked a little bit about the Rico Dowdle situation. Still a little hurt over that, but we move on. We survive and advance. We're at week 6, baby.
Yep.
We're ready to rock it this week. I love weeks like this. Like last week, I absolutely loved the slate. This week, I love the slate. It's so shitty. Like I feel like my best performances come from shitty slates. No studs that the Josh Allens who just wreck me for like a 50 burger on a random Sunday in November. That's Josh Allen. That's what he does. What was it last year? Who were they playing? Was it the Lions? I think they were playing that Lions game. Amon-Ra had like 40. It wasn't Amon-Ra. It was Shakir. Shakir had like 35.
Wow. Oh,
Josh
yeah.
Allen went for 52. It was crazy. I just got smoked.
I actually had Josh Allen in the game where he got a pass, he caught his own
Caught it for a touchdown.
pass, but threw it
That
as
was
well. That was the other guy.
That was
Amari Cooper.
Amari Cooper. That was like a Sunday night game, though.
Yeah.
I think that was a showdown game.
Yeah, that was cool.
That was a crazy play. Yeah, that was a night game. Yeah, I remember that. It was snowing, right? That game was
cold,
snowing.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. That's these are the weeks we live for, right? Especially if you've been paying attention to these pricing elements. It's crazy this week. We got not much value here at running back. Not compared to ownership, not much value I'm seeing. So where do you like to start this week in running back? Because I feel like this is kind of your staple. This is your bread and butter. This is where you're going to make your biscuits here. You know what I mean? Most slates, I think it's more getting the running back centric spot right because, the chances of outcomes of these stud running back hitting are a lot higher than a receiver is, right?
Yeah.
And we've seen that for the past 3 or 4 years, the running back position, especially this past year and this year alone, the running back position has outscored the wide receiver position. Look at Saquon last year. I mean, how many games did he have 40 points in last year? I think it was like 4 or 5. He had 40 points, and I faded him every week. That's why I loved him this year, and he's absolutely killing me every week. I got killed last year, so I'm doubling down on Saquon Barkley's this year.
I like it. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not thinking about ownership. I was really high on Judkins, and I'm still, I still like him. He has a good matchup. 5,900.
59. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
13% ownership too. So, not paying that premium, and I actually have him on my list. So, yeah, that's awesome. He's number 2 on my list of values this week. What's your opinions on this Javonte Williams situation? I think this ownership's wrong. I think he steams more towards that 25. Higher 25s, 30%. So you're not getting much leverage there. Is he a had to have it running back this week for you, Walter?
No, he wasn't.
Yeah.
I had 4 running backs. He was not one of those running backs that I had. What about yourself?
Yeah, I tend to agree in most spots. One thing that is interesting, though, about Javonte Williams, if everyone checks out his props, I think he is almost 4-1 to score 2 touchdowns. That's kind of my baseline that for my running backs, I like to look at those, kind of see what Vegas is going after, and if I see if anything's mispriced. But I think that's probably about right. He's probably going to get 1, for sure. Yeah. But does he make value? If you're up here at these head honchos up here, does he outscore a Genty? Does he outscore a JT or a McCaffrey or an HN? I don't think so. I think he probably gets you 20. I think it's a better cash play, price adjusted. Tournament wise, I just don't find myself there with the ownership, and he's kind of inflated a little bit this week at 64. Yeah, 64. So not bad, I guess. Not totally inflated. He probably should be about 68. I think that would be more reasonable for him. I think he's a little bit underpriced.
One thing I'll say is somebody whose favorite team is in the NFC South. You can look at their record. Carolina's a different team at home, and they're going to be at home. They're 2-0 at home. Oh, they're terrible on the road. So just throwing it out there to everybody. They are, for whatever reason, they are a different team. at Bank of America Stadium, wherever the heck their stadium is called. So just throwing that out there.
So I assume you're in with the Rico play there.
Oh, you know it. That's my number one play. I know the ownership might be a little high, but sometimes
20%, 21%. So that's the same as last week. He was 18% last week.
You know, one of my favorite DFS people online back in the day, he was just like, you can eat a little bit of chalk just as long as you get different other places. You can't just have a whole chalky lineup. So Rico Dowdle might be a little high, but as long as you pivot some other places, you'll be okay.
Right. Yeah, I think you're right. I think a common occurrence I don't want to jump to receiver yet, but I think a common occurrence with a Rico Dowdle play is going to be with a Puka Nacua. Probably, those are the top, Puka Nacua, who else is in there? A lot of ownership going there. We'll jump there. I don't want to jump ahead. Yeah, I agree with you. I think you can go back to the Rico well here at 5,800. They like to feature a back in Carolina. Dave Canales does. He doesn't really play too much two running back sets.
And the revenge. Remember the revenge. He wants revenge.
You got the Cowboy narrative. Awesome game environment. I think it's at 47.5, unless it's jumped. 49.5. Okay, so yeah, it has jumped. It was earlier in the week. It was at 47.5. So almost a 50-point total. At home, I love a home running back.
Yep.
I've kind of been leaning heavy on that this year, so I've been going with a lot of JT, and it hasn't steered me wrong. Favorited. Well, they're not favorited, but I do like the home. I do like the home running back aspect of it. Yeah, he's probably one of my top plays this week, top 3 at least. What's your opinion on? This team has really disappointed me, and I'm very upset with them this year. But $6,200 Derrick Henry. That's a tournament play if I haven't seen one. And I keep preaching him every week. And I know chat's going to destroy me for this because I had him on one of my thumbnails, RB1 of the week. So I was, I've been leaning heavy. I'm chasing that 30 burger that he dropped in week 1 against the Bills. Maybe wishful thinking without Lamar. I don't know. What do you think? Talk me off this cliff.
I'm going to talk you off of it, but I'm going to say that, a couple of weeks ago on my channel, I introduced the Brave Bird special. And basically what it is in DFS, we've all looked at the winning lineup and we've seen players and said, that makes no statistical sense. But DFS is not just about the optimizers and models and statistics. Derrick Henry makes no sense. But you know what? Wait, wasn't Geno Smith in the Millie Maker had like a couple of how many interceptions?
That was week 3. Dropped 30 points. Trey Tucker dropped 42.
So if you're going to
that makes sense, Brave Bird. 3 touchdowns from Trey Tucker.
So yes, now you can lose a lot of money being too contrarian, but you got to sprinkle into your lineup some things that don't make a lot of sense. But this isn't totally crazy because he was like an MVP last year.
He was an MVP week 1. After week 1, he was the best running back in the league, and now he's I think I want to believe in freak athletes. Like I do love playing freak athletes. I don't like to judge I think the price here is what is really intriguing me at 6,200. He's less than Javonte Williams. He's less than Ashton Jin. He's less than Kyron by only 100. So not, I do like Kyron in that game script too, but he's less than Josh Jacobs. You know what I mean? Like this is where he used to run around at that 7,400 mark, 7K mark for years, right? Since I've been playing DFS. I mean, I remember in 2022, I think he was up to like 85, 86. Like you almost couldn't play him. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean,
he was getting 100. He was getting 100 yards, and he was scoring a touchdown that week. And you could cash that, take it to the bank every week. Who's stopping Derrick Henry? I think the only person stopping him is himself right now. I really do. I think he's getting in his own way. I think he's in his head a lot. I think, they've been punched in the mouth. So we're really going to find out if this Baltimore team actually could be legit. Season's still young, so I'm not out on anybody right now. I know the Eagles just lost last night to the Giants. I don't think the Giants are a Super Bowl caliber team. Brian Dable is still the head coach of that football team. I don't know how the Eagles offense coordinator is not fired after week 2. I don't know how he's still there. I guess he's Big Dom's cousin or something up there, some family relation or something, because something's got to be going on with that guy. He sucks. They need Kellen Moore back in a hurry. And I think they should go ahead and make the put a trade in for Kellen Moore. They need him back. You know what I mean? Maybe they could send AJ Brown down there. You know what I mean? AJ Brown for Kellen Moore. I'm sure they would probably take it up there in Philly.
Yeah, man. I don't know, man. That being said, about as far as Henry, man, this is a tough matchup. This is a tough matchup.
It is tough.
But that's why you play multiple lineups, right? You don't want to go too far over the field with Henry, but this is the kind of play that wins you.
Yeah, it's Millie Maker type stuff. Like, I would not play this in a single entry tournament by no means. You know what I mean? But I do like to play some wacky lineups, and I like to get weird. And running back position is one of those places where you can, because the touchdown equity is so high in that position. You know what I mean? Yeah, that's one thing I found out that I've really kind of honed in on a little bit, is that your receivers are more spotty. Amon-Ra St. Brown last week, for example, 14 points. You know what I mean? Like, and this Sunday night, he'll probably have 3. You know what I mean? Like, that's how it goes with a receiver. You just there's no true way, like, and that will bring us to our receivers, but and we'll talk about him when we get there. But I had one more player, kind of in my value range that I think will get forgotten about and squeezed out up in this higher tier, is Devon Achane. At 18% ownership, I think that's wrong. I think he tends more towards that 12%. So a little bit more sneaky. I think you're getting too much ownership up there with McCaffrey, with Taylor, with Jacobs. A lot of people are going to play Genty. A lot of people are going to play Kyron. A lot of people are going to play Rico. You know what I mean? I think he kind of gets left out because of his price. I don't hate it. Devon Achane last week was the best play in the slate, according to everyone. I didn't think so, but this week I do kind of want to buy low on Achane. You're paying more for him, so you're not really buying low. But no Tyreek anymore. I just love his receiving ability. You know what I mean? I think that's more valuable to me. And, DraftKings PPR-based format, it has to be. These are things you got to consider. This is what separates a 20-point running back from a 30-point running back. You know what I mean? This is what separates Javonte Williams from an Achane, from a CMC, those types. Not Kyron, because he can't catch a football to save his life, but we've known that. So that's no different.
Getting more and more. Corum is getting,
he's inching his way in there, and I think he probably, I think they could be in a timeshare here before too long. But yeah, what do you think about Achane this week? I know it's a little pricey, and I do think his ownership's wrong. And we'll jump to quarterback after this, and I'll tell you why I love Achane so much.
Yeah. What do you think? I don't want to overthink it. I mean, first of all, you hear me talk about the eyeball test, and that comes from the fact that, it really came from me. I do all kind of DFS. And so, with NBA, I would play more DFS and watch the games, right? And then when I would watch the games, I was like, oh, the stats didn't even add up. The player was terrible. They were just a good, DFS player.
Right.
Achane is a good player in real life.
Right. Yeah, he's a baller.
Yeah.
He's an athlete. You know what I mean?
He could do what Scatterboo did. He could do that. He could, except he would do it in receiving instead of blessing through. He's not doing flips.
And that's double the points, right?
Exactly. Yeah. So yeah, I don't want to pay up a lot this week because there's so many mid and mid-range and value running backs, but he is a good player on a team that needs to win and is in a good game script and is running out of playmakers, especially if Waller's questionable. If Waller is playing, you definitely got to start him. But if Waller is out as well, which I think he's going to play though.
Right. Yeah, I think Waller's in. I think they were just resting him this week because he's ancient too. You know what I mean? He's got to heal up. At home against this Chargers team, the Chargers just absolutely ran on by Bill. Bill Krosky just ran all over him. Put him into oblivion. Him and Deebo Samuel just absolutely shattered all the Justin Herbert talk, MVP. He's the great. No, he's still the same guy. Nothing's changed. He's still the same guy. Now, one player, these quarterbacks that aren't the same guy, I mean, that's a different discussion. You know what I mean? Dak Prescott's playing out of his brain right now. This is not the same guy with no CD Lamb. It's crazy. But the reason I like Achane is because it's so easy to stack. It's so easy that game in itself, like you can legitimately get 5 to 6 players from that game and probably expect a high point total. The game is at a low total, but I think both these defenses are garbage. That's why I love this game. You know what I mean? And it's a way to pull off of this oblivion ownership to oblivion here. Justin Herbert at 14%. Don't like that play this week, but I do like Tua on the other side of it at night. Not a 1% ownership, $5,500. It's cheap. He's one of those players that can get a 35-point total. I mean, a 35-point performance. We've seen it. Not this year and not really last year, but we have seen it in previous Tua lifetimes, several concussions ago. You know what I mean?
I mean, yeah, 5,500. You can't hate on Tua. He can get you. Once again, we just don't want him to wreck your lineup. He can get you 16 to 20 points. I mean, he's gotten 22 points 2 times this year, 15.7 points 2 weeks ago. So we know that he can do it. And like you said, if you can have that stack with Achane and Waller.
Right, it's super affordable, and if you wanted to, you could really stack this 4 ways. You could throw in a Waddle and a Waller and probably an Achane too. I think that's viable. And if you think this game shoots out, you want to bet all your chips on this game. You know what I mean? Like if you think this game could really wreck a slate, which it kind of did last week in a way. Waddle had 24 points at $5,800. No Tyreek Hill. Waller is getting those middle and up routes. You know what I mean? That's what he's built for. He's a 6'6" wide receiver. He's not a tight end. People forget he's slow like a tight end now, but at one point he wasn't a tight end. He was a receiver. You know what I mean? It's just I like the touchdown abilities there. I think Tua can throw for 4. Like that's in a range of outcomes against a Chargers team who's not that good. This defense is not great. The offense, this is a perfect case of a shootout in my opinion. Both defenses are bad. Offenses are kind of garbage. So what do you really see in this game? I see a lot of points. When I look at it that way, I see a lot of 40, 50-yard passes down the field to a Lad McConkey or a Quentin Johnson. You know what I mean? Just busting things open on these blown coverages on these defenses. So that's one game I really like. We talked about Flacco. We really like Flacco. He's easy to stack. 4K. You just, like you said, if you get 15 points out of him in this week and every other quarterback fails, that wins tournaments. I've seen it. Yeah, I've seen it done. Who done it to us last year a bunch? Who was that one bum that just kept doing it? No, 2 years ago, it was Derek Carr. He done it on like 3 different milli makers. You remember? One game, Taysom Hill went for 50 points one game last year, and I had him. And I played Taysom Hill that week.
Was he quarterback or tight end? He was a quarterback. He was
no, he was tight end. He was a tight end.
Okay, yeah.
But yeah, I think Tua's definitely in play. I want Flacco for sure. Those are probably my 2 favorite values. Well, actually, I got a lot of values on my list here.
Yeah, man.
My third player is Darnold. What do you think about that play? And if you got a player you want to add to, you can go ahead and do that as well. But if you think Darnold is a good play, going back to the well.
Yeah, I mean, I see what DraftKings is saying, but you and I have talked about it. Jacksonville has a good defense, so I'm curious. And he's going to be on the road, and it gets loud down there in Duval. So I'm a little bit I know what DraftKings is saying, but I have some concerns about Sam Darnold. But if you look at his number, he is trending, in the right direction as far as all of his statistics. So I don't hate Sam Darnold.
Yeah, I think he's a decent play. He's just a little more. I don't like him as much as I did last week. He's went up, $300, and you're not going to get a 30-point. It's probably not going to happen. I tend to think he probably hangs like a 21-point game, something like that, with like 2 touchdowns and like 300 yards. I think that's more in the range of outcomes against this defense. I do like this game though. Both sides, all the way around.
Wait, both sides. If you like both sides, it means you're saying something good about your mortal enemy. So I just want,
Yeah,
we got to report this.
I don't want to say I love him this week.
You don't love his beautiful hair. You don't.
This is He did show a little bit of life. Of course, he had 28 DraftKings points the other night. He probably should have had 21 because that last touchdown was a fluke. Kansas City just forgot how to tackle people and just outcomes, man. So you can't bank that every week, and he hasn't shown any life since. I mean, before this, you know what I mean? I think week 1 he had a decent week, but at $5,100, in a game that I think could possibly maybe shoot out. Like you said, Jacksonville has a really good defense. We've both been touting them from the rooftops from week 1. I seen what I needed to see from that defense. But yeah, I think Lawrence is in play a little bit. I don't like his ownership. That's the only downfall to him, and I think he will get steamed up. I think he's higher than 9. I think he probably in that 12% ownership this week, probably 12 or 13%.
Now, what are your thoughts? Because once again, I'm on Carolina because they're at home against Dallas. I actually like Bryce Young at 4,800 at home. What are your thoughts on Bryce Young?
Dude, I love Bryce Young this week too at $4,800. I mean, I'll just keep taking stabs against this Dallas Cowboys defense until they show me different. That was kind of like last year with the Cincinnati games. You know what I mean? You just stack your quarterback against the Bengals and roll with it. Just terrible pass defenses. Can't protect. Offenses are great in that game. And I tend to think I like the Chuba Hubbard a little bit more than Bryce Young, but I don't hate them both together. I think that's one way to pull yourself off of the Rico ownership some, get some leverage on the field there. I think that he could probably throw him a touchdown, which would be super valuable to Bryce Young. If he threw him a touchdown instead of him running one in. Like if he runs 2 in, if Dowdle runs 2 in, I think you're probably cooked.
True.
You know what I mean? I think those Bryce Young lineups are probably cooked after that point. You don't really want that. You really kind of want Dallas to jump on them here early.
Yep.
Involve Rico more in the pass game. What do you think about Tet on that same side? And I know we're talking receiver too, but bringing him along with that stack because he's popping for some ownership this week and rightfully so.
Yeah, he's 6,000, right? Yep.
He's 16% ownership. So
once again, yeah, it's if you're going with Young, I don't unless you're going with Young, I really don't like McMillan or whatever. I mean, his numbers are all over the place. He has a lot of variance, and one of the things I like to talk about on my channel is people that have a lot of variance drive me insane. I know that it is what it is in DFS, but it drives me insane.
Rashid Shaheed. I said it last week on my show. I said Rashid Shaheed is the type of player who'll cut you for 120 and a touchdown in a heartbeat on 2 catches.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But he's only going to do it once or twice a year, so don't chase it. You know what I mean? We've seen this Rashid Shaheed playbook before.
Olave has the less variance, and he's more consistent. But yeah.
Yeah. What do you think about Olave too? Bringing that. What do you think about him? Because you think Gonzalez plays on him. Like I don't want to play any receiver against Christian Gonzalez. I don't care who it is.
No, I don't have any Saints. I don't have any Saints in my recommendations this week.
Yeah, me either. Now, one flyer that is fun on that Saints team, and I'll name him out, and I've name dropped him already earlier, and he's probably one of my favorite players, just because he's the Swiss Army knife of football, Mr. Taysom Hill, just getting nasty, just a straight nasty Taysom Hill play. No ownership, 3K. If Alvin Kamara is out, Taysom Hill could be live. I want that for the record.
Yeah, if you twisted my arm behind my back, definitely Kendre Miller. The young
Kendre Miller's awesome too. He's at $4,700.
Yeah,
no ownership.
Twisted my arm.
I think he will get steamed though a little bit on Sunday if Kamara is out. But yeah, I hate the Saints. I hate playing them. I hate Chris Olave. So everybody who keeps, jumping on these Chris Olave, Jacoby Myers bandwagons, y'all can keep the ownership. I'll keep fading the bums. But yeah, I hate the Saints. I hate playing them. I hate Chris Olave, Jacoby Myers bandwagons. Y'all can keep the ownership. I'll keep fading the bums. But yeah, I hate the Saints. I hate playing them. I hate Chris Olave, Jacoby Myers bandwagons. Y'all can keep the ownership. I'll keep fading the bums. But yeah, just not very good plays. I just don't like Olave. I don't like Shaheed. I do like Taysom Hill with no Kamara, but that's about it. Because he's kind of a quarterback too, right?
Yeah.
We've seen him throw touchdowns.
Yeah.
We've seen him run in touchdowns. We've seen him catch touchdowns. We've seen him punt return. We've seen him kick return.
He's a bigger version of Tebow. He's like what Tebow never caught on. Tebow did it for 1 year, not counting, college. He was amazing in the NFL. Right. 1 year.
Those are fun players, man. Like I said, I've seen Taysom Hill cut a slate open with a 50 burger or 40. I think it was 48 points. He had like 3 touchdowns and like 200 yards total offense. So it was crazy, but I just don't love it. Like you said, it's just kind of nasty way to get there. No interest in Rattler though. I don't think, right? The rattlesnake.
No, I tried that and got bit.
Yeah, he got bit by the rattlesnake, man. 4% ownership. I don't like it. I don't know why he's getting 4% ownership in the first place. That makes no sense to me. All right, so what's your take? And I'll give you 2 more quarterbacks, and we'll hop off quarterbacks. What's your take on Baker and Dak? We can go Dak first because it's the other side of that Carolina game we were mentioning. Dak at 6,500, 9% ownership. 8.5% ownership. What's your opinions on Dak and Baker?
Man, Dak, I don't know, man. Dak, I don't know. He went to that fountain of youth like Barry Bonds did a couple. I don't know what's going on with Dak, man. I don't know who this guy is.
They got Parsons. They got Parsons up out there, and he said, "This is my locker room now." You know what I mean? I think it's kind of like the Pinocchio thing. He said, "I'm a real boy."
I guess so, man. But I mean, the thing about Dak is, I feel like Mayfield and Stafford are better. Even though you can argue that the game script for Stafford is not the best, but man, okay, obviously as a Falcons fan, I have nightmares about Mayfield, but taking the chain off, that guy doesn't give up. He never gives up.
And I feel so bad because I commented on one of his things like in 2000 when the year he was playing for the Browns.
Mm-hmm.
And I actually got a comment back from Baker Mayfield, and I want to apologize, and I want to make it public record, Baker, that I'm sorry for calling you the worst fantasy quarterback bust in history. I should have never doubted you. Hats off to you, dude. You're a real dog. So I think a lot of that's just we're seeing that this year. Well, the past 2 years really is. It's not so much of the quarterback is bad. It's these coaches and franchises are just giving up too early. They're not developing a quarterback. You know what I mean? Look at Tom Brady,
Peyton Manning,
Drew Brees.
Yep. Definitely. Aikman wasn't amazing at first. Aikman wasn't like amazing, no. Troy Aikman,
Right, and they're just not developing these players. We've seen it with Mac Jones. I mean, he's kind of had a resurgence, even though I think he's terrible.
Oh man.
I gotta give the kid this. He's got heart, man. He was getting absolutely pummeled and just kept getting back up. So I like that aspect of Mac Jones too. I didn't expect that out of him, but I do think that Kyle Shanahan is the type of coach that you would want as a quarterback. I think he's a very good quarterback coach because he gives them easy options. He gives them easy outs. You know what I mean?
Yep. Yeah, what you said about coaching is interesting. I was listening to somebody online, and we rank everything but coaches. And so, the person I was listening to was saying, like, you have some people that have the number 27 ranked coach, and you're like, be a good player. Be a good player. All your coaches are 29th ranked. Do well.
Right. Yeah, look at Caleb Williams this year. I mean, we're seeing a resurgence of that. I mean, I don't like him, but he's playing good ball.
Yep.
Ben Johnson's got him on the right track. So I think it's more of coaching than anything, confidence coaching. Yep. I think, look at Darnold in his Carolina years. Darnold's another example of that last year with Kevin O'Connell just resurrecting him from the grave. Now he goes to Seattle, and everybody thinks he's not good still, and he's probably one of the best, most accurate quarterbacks in the league. I know he threw a pick to end the game, which was crazy. But, what do you think about Dak? this
Yeah,
week.
I like Dak. I like Dak, but I feel like I'd have nightmares if Baker Mayfield did well or Stafford. But I like Dak. I mean, the numbers don't lie. I mean, he was always a great player, but I mean, these aren't garbage. These aren't garbage points either, like you and I talked about offline. This is not garbage. This is not garbage Dak that just stacks up because they're losing.
No, it's efficient quarterbacking.
Yep.
Look at what's his QBR? It's got to be high.
Yeah, it's quarterback rating the last 2 games was 127 and 124, which is insane. But yeah, I mean, yeah.
Yeah, Dak's playing crazy, dude. He's playing out of his mind. I think if there's 2 people on a slate that can put this one out of reach, it's probably those 2.
Yeah.
If I had if you had a gun to my head, I would say those 2 are probably your best options. Just and just pay up for them and bite the bullet, because I mean, we can talk about all the Daniel Jones we want. We can talk about all the Drake Mays we want. What have they really proven us other than beating a couple crappy teams? Daniel Jones, I'm not buying it still. It's probably going to kill me. I just don't think they're good.
No, me neither. I'm Daniel Jones not on my list. My 3 quarterbacks were Flacco, Bryce Young, and Drake May. Those are the 3 ones that really stood out to me. I don't know what's Drake May's ownership is probably high. I don't know.
9, yeah, he's high owned. That was my only disagreement. I like Drake May. I think he can. I think the rushing ability can get you there with like 2 touchdowns and 2 passing touchdowns.
Yeah.
Just 9% is kind of high on him, and he's priced up barely now, which makes it a little more difficult. Yeah, I don't mind. I don't mind Drake May though this week. And like you said, Bryce Young's definitely a GPP flyer. I've been playing him every week in the Millie. I just know he's due to pop for a 30-pointer at some point.
Yep.
Yeah, that's kind of all I had quarterback wise. I had Mac Jones as a 1-star. Just betting on that game. I think that game could be a blowout situation. Or a high total situation. It's set pretty high too, 47. So, yeah, I like that game a lot.
Yeah, I like Mac Jones. Says questionable now, but I like Mac Jones. I mean, we all saw it. I mean, I was like, dang, where was this guy in New England?
In New England, right? Yeah, just resurrecting Kendrick Bourne with him too, huh? Kendrick Bourne went for 140 on like 9 grabs.
Yeah, you're on my wide receiver list. If Pearsall or what's his name, Jennings are out, I'm definitely going back to Bourne. If they're out, if he goes back to wide receiver 3, then no, but
right. I think Jennings is suited to play though. I think he's expected.
Okay.
I think he practiced in full today. So
okay.
Yeah, just kind of keep an eye on that. You want to jump into receivers? We can though. You said who's your favorite receiver this week, and I'll give you mine.
All right, man. It's going to be crazy, man. But this is a value receiver. I'm liking Horton, man. You're liking Darnold. I'm liking Horton, the rookie at 4,100. What's his ownership look like?
Where's Horton? He's not no, like probably 1%. I'll say 0.8%. Horton is. Torrey Horton, 0.6 ownership, so 0.5%.
I mean, look at the numbers, man, for the value, man.
And you know what's beautiful about that play, and why I'm glad you brought it up. Not only is it good in our Darnold stacks, which we like again this week. If you watched the game on Monday night, what was Jacksonville really giving up that could have been big hits? Would have won me a lot of money in DFS because I went back to the well, and I'll keep screaming it. That Tyquan Thornton is an absolute separator when it comes to the deep ball, and it seems like that Horton is too.
Yes. Yes.
These are the type of plays, like you're saying. These are the Shaheeds that are a lot lower priced. These are why I'm not playing Rashid Shaheed, because I'll take a flyer on a Torrey Horton at a cheaper price, at 4,100, or a Tyquan Thornton, even though he's not on the slate. Yeah, these are definitely guys that can separate against this Jackson. If Jacksonville does get beat, it has to be through the air. I don't think you're going to run your way through this Jacksonville defense. Not on a short week, not at their house either. Yeah, so like you said, Torrey Horton's awesome. I had him on my list as a 1-star. with Darnold stacks only. I wouldn't one off. I mean, I guess you could one off of it, really, because it's kind of a home run play. Like if you don't think that Darnold gets there, like, and if you think that Torrey Horton can catch one, like for sure, maybe Horton just gets 100 and a touchdown. Like that's in a range of outcomes too. We've seen it. What was it, 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago? He returned a punt and caught a touchdown. So.
Yeah, it's crazy. What are you were talking about Nakua, but what I was thinking about pivoting off Nakua and Adams. What are your thoughts on Devontae?
Yeah, Devontae Adams is my favorite receiver play on the slate. Yeah, I like him better than Puka Nakua. If I'm going, if I'm going leverage lane here and I want to get super different and I don't want to waste a lot of money doing it, I'm going to because he's only pulling 10% ownership. Devontae Adams at $6,700. We haven't seen the Devontae blow up spot yet.
No.
We've seen Devontae get 100 and a touchdown, but we haven't seen the touchdown variant swing in his favor, really. He's had a couple games now. One specifically, who were they playing? Was it the Eagles that he should have had 2 touchdowns in, or 3 touchdowns that just wound up dropping or overthrown by Stafford? So in the red zone, this team's going to Devontae Adams. You're not going to name a better route runner in the league than Devontae Adams. You know what I mean? Even at his age, I don't think anybody that can run a route. You could say Puka can give him a run for his money, but I think Puka's more of just a bulldog. I don't think he's much finesse as Devontae Adams is. I think he's more just hard nosed, get it in your face and get it done. You know what I mean? But yeah, Puka Nakua ownership is going to be crazy this week, dude. $8,700. Like, dude, he's got to cook. He's got to get you that 39-pointer again.
Yeah, man. You always got to think about that. Like I said, when it comes to these slates, I'm like times three.
I like the times 4.
You like the times 4?
Yeah, I like to see what their 4x 4x value would be. Is kind of where I get a good feel from it. But yeah, 3x2 is like kind of what you have to have in order for it to work. Your 4x, if you get a 4x, then you're talking winning some tournaments. You know what I mean? You're taking down some stuff with that.
Yeah.
Rico Dowdle was that guy last week. I think he was at 6x or 7x. So
crazy.
Yeah, Puka Nakua, though, 24% ownership. Yeah, give me Devontae Adams, the best leverage play on the slate at the receiver position, and probably the game in itself. I don't think you would want to bring I don't like Stafford this week. Just I got a bad feeling about this game in general. I don't think it lives up to that total. I think Baltimore shows up. I think they have to.
You believe in Baltimore still. You believe.
Dude, it's so bad. CJ Stroud just absolutely cooked them. Now, the only reason I do believe in Baltimore this week is because they're getting one of the crucial pieces of this defense back, and that's Kyle Hamilton.
Okay.
So if Kyle Hamilton's in the game, he's going to run on Puka, and I'll give Kyle Hamilton this. On a man-to-man, I don't think there's probably a better safety than Kyle Hamilton. I mean, you could probably what's that guy's name? That's blanking me now. But anyways, I don't think that game goes as crazy as everyone does expect. I think it kind of fizzles out. Just a lot of ownership going to that game too. Rightfully so. I mean, CJ Stroud just cooked them for 4 touchdowns and 280 yards. You know what I mean? But there was no pushback from Baltimore. That was the problem in that game. The defense didn't make a stop. Just terrible all the way around by Baltimore, getting embarrassed. But they're at home again, so I kind of like them better in this spot. LA's coming off a bad loss, so you can kind of catch them on their heels there. I think a little bit. Maybe they're feeling a little defeated. I think it kind of fizzles out. But I do like Devontae Adams as my favorite leverage play of the slate. Yeah. Devontae Adams is awesome at 67. What is there? 60s? Yeah, 67. Just good value there. Who else do you got at receiver?
All right. Once again, going crazy here. I want to know your opinion. You have any love for Shepard for the Bucks?
Sterling Shepard? Yes. And your Baker stacks, I'd love him.
Yeah.
That game's easy to stack too. It's going to, Ibuka or Shepard or both. I don't think Otten is as good in that situation. He's been pretty terrible. Had a good week last week, though, so you can't discount it completely.
Yeah.
But Shepard, what's his price? Is he $3,800?
$3,800, man.
How'd I know that? I didn't even know that. I just looked it up. So it's Sterling Shepard, 38. He's a $3,800 receiver. Like he's priced accordingly. You know what I mean? Like that's a high boomer bust play. If he gets you 18 to 20, he's paying that off. And then 1% ownership, that could be something you need this week at $3,800. So I don't hate.
Yeah, it's surprising. I mean, he's getting a good amount of targets for that, for that price point. That's what's kind of throwing me off, like 5, 4, 5, 4, 6, and that's with everybody. So this week you would think it would jump above the 5 or 6 targets.
Yeah, he's got, what did he get last week? 4 receptions on 28 yards. What's his targets? He caught a touchdown last week. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that makes that play. Yeah. Baker seems to love him because of the Oklahoma days, so they're kind of got that connection. Yep. So yeah, I don't hate that play. That's actually a really good GPP play. No ownership, $3,800. Awesome punt. You're not probably going to find a better punt on the slate. Less than $4,500. My next favorite is I'm going back to the well. With him this week. I'll say JSN. I'll take JSN over Puka Nacua this week again at $7,600 in a game they probably should be trailing.
Yep.
In a game we both like, I think that JSN can easily get you 25 again. I just like the ownership at 12%. Yeah. And I think that's probably where he ends up. JSN is probably my top dog receiver this week. Abuka's a close second, playing out of his skull too. He's definitely not a rookie. We shouldn't consider him one. I don't think this guy's really a rookie. No, but he's only $7,200 and at 13% ownership. I don't mind going back there. Targets are going to have to go to him, right?
Yeah. I don't know who's he going up against with the 49ers? I mean, but yeah, beyond him being, the man now.
He'll probably be playing, what's his name? He's actually pretty good.
Yeah. That's my only concern.
It's a crazy name. Who's their number 1 corner? It's such a weird name. It's blanking me. Yeah, you're right. It is a little tougher, but if you do like Baker, you kind of got to like him. I think
Leonore, what is it?
Leominor. Leominor Lenore. That's it. Yeah. Yeah, he's legit.
Yep. That's the only reason I'm slightly, because once you're the man, before he had Evans, kind of taking the brunt of things, but with Evans gone. But I mean, I can't say
no Godwin this week, so
no Godwin.
Godwin was my favorite player on this week again at $5,600, but he's not going to play this week.
But I'm splitting hairs. I like Baker, so I'm just
I like the game. I think that game's pretty sneaky. I like him as well. What do you think about BTJ?
Let's see.
And I know I hate the Duval County Little League team there, but
I mean, I've watched so many of their games, and Ryan Thomas, he's on my fantasy team. I know I showed you my team, but they don't pass the eyeball test. I mean, it's not him. It's not him.
No. It's definitely not him. We've seen that last year with him and Mac Jones. I mean, when Mac Jones was under the helm, he was getting 30 points a game every week. I just think he's a flyer. I think he's worth a look in that game. If we do want to stack the Darnold stuff, I think he's a good bring back. Travis Hunter's probably a no for me there. Maybe. Just not really. I mean, he's kind of emerging, I guess.
I just get worried about him getting injured on defense in the first quarter.
Yeah, I don't like him playing on defense.
Yeah.
Too many chances for injury. Double the chances.
Football's about odds. I mean, just she's on the field too much.
Now, I'll give you one of my favorite cheapies this week, and I think he's worth a shot this week. $5,200 Romeo Dobbs in our Flacco stacks. I think he's a good bring back. Definitely live for 2 touchdowns. We've seen him get 3. They like him in the red zone.
Yeah, because Reed's gone for the year, right? Whatever. So long as Reed's not in, I always like
no Jaden Reed, no Christian Watson.
Yeah.
I think Dobbs is pretty fairly priced there.
Yeah.
52. Wonder what Duntavian Wicks is at. That's interesting.
3,700.
30. Oh, wow. He's pulling more ownership too. I think people go to Wicks more than they would Dobbs. I think Dobbs' price will keep him in check.
Yep.
But Dobbs is a better play. Touchdown targets in the red zone alone. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't have any problem with Dobbs.
Yeah, I don't have any problem with either or. They're low enough ownership. In a Jordan Love stack, I don't hate it. Just don't really like Jordan Love as a quarterback. Yeah, what do you think about I got a few more here. What do you think about T. Higgins in your Flacco stacks?
I mean,
He's
I
57.
yeah, I pivoted off of for showdown Chase with Higgins. I don't have a problem with Higgins, but I guess my question for you: look who's surrounding Higgins. What are your thoughts about? I mean, you got McConkey and you have Diggs right around Higgins. What are your thoughts about them? Because I mean, I'm always thinking about the people around the player that I pick.
You're right. I mean, let's see here. I don't want to do by ownership. I can't click off it. Yeah, Diggs at 58. What is he? 57. T. Higgins. The only thing fun about it though is that 2% ownership, but $5,700 is kind of expensive. But he makes sense in our Flacco stacks. If you like Flacco, you kind of gotta like him and Jamar Chase, because if Flacco kind of gets there, I think he's got to get those two the ball.
Well, when I first found your channel, your boy what Gesicki, you going on him?
Dude, I keep a little Gesicki bags packed because he's due for a 2-touchdown gritty weekend. You know, with a capital,
whatever Yoshibas spelled all crazy with an I.
I don't know about Yoshi, but I do like. What was it? Yeah, it was a couple weeks ago. I said I really love Darren Waller. I mean, Gesicki, and I said I liked his anytime touchdown because it was like 7-1, and he falls down at like the 1-yard line, and I was so pissed. Yeah, I think those two are live. But who was it? You said McConkey. Yeah, I like McConkey. If you like the Dolphins game, I don't hate that. I don't really like QJ as much. I think McConkey's still the wide receiver one, and that's a tough take.
Yep.
I don't think Quentin Johnson's that guy. I don't know if that's recency bias or past year bias. I just seen enough drops to know that it's probably coming.
I mean, but Herbert loves Allen, and Allen's 5,600. I mean,
Keenan Allen's 14% ownership, so that's right.
Yeah.
I think I like the McConkey play better.
Yep.
Just because of the ownership, you know what I mean? He's half the ownership of those two guys.
Yeah, they've given up. Everybody's given up on Ladd.
he could have slammed last week too. He almost returned that punt return for a touchdown. He hurdled whoever that was. That was actually pretty sick. He caught a touchdown and then hurdled a guy for a touchdown. Should have been, but it got called back. So yeah, I like McConkey.
He's still getting a good amount of targets. It's just I don't think we all expected Allen and Johnston to.
I'm still waiting for Keenan Allen just absolutely to fall apart on the field and retire. I think it's going to happen. I do like Keenan Allen though, so that's no shade towards Keenan. I think he's a good player. He's just old, man. It's just hard for those guys to stay healthy week in and week out. And we're getting in a time of season where health is a big concern. Yep. It's week 6 now. You know what I mean? It's not week 2 anymore. So I think you probably see some regression from Keenan as the year goes on. Who else did you have on your list? And I know you probably got the same guy. But yeah, tell me who else you got on your list.
That was really it. We talked about my favorite is Adams. You know, if you want to get some value on some bigger contests, I like Horton and Shepard. I'm curious about Diggs, but his ownership might be a little too high. Those are the ones that really stood out to me. And Bourne, but like I said, if Jennings is coming back, obviously it's not going to make sense.
Yeah, Diggs against New Orleans. I mean, I don't hate that. You know what I mean? New Orleans is pretty terrible. It seems like Diggs kind of solidified that wide receiver 1 role. Well, he's kind of been getting the target share anyhow, just hasn't really been producing on him. Yeah, at 14%, that's not terrible on Diggs at 5,800. Just would rather him be like 56 or 55 would be more fun, but you're probably not going to see that again this year. What about Iamonor? I know he burnt you last week. Me too. What about going back against this terrible, terrible Raiders defense at 3,900?
I feel
1%
like,
ownership.
yeah, man, I feel like Shepard is safer. I got burned bad. I mean, he screwed me. I mean, just left me out on the side of the road and took my cell phone. I mean,
I played him in a lot of big tournaments too. That's the bad part about Iamonor. But I was kind of hoping he would grab like 100 yards, but
yeah,
I don't know. I think they're airing it out a little more though. They're
yeah.
letting Cam Ward get play his game, which
But
is
I like
fun.
targets. I'm all about routes run and targets.
Right, and he's not getting very many targets. We'll be
Yeah,
honest. You're kind of, but it early in the year, it seemed like he was the receiver number one.
that was Ridley. I feel like Ridley's taking it back over, right?
Yeah, kind of Ridley's taking it back over last week with like 130 some yards on like 8 grabs. But Iamonor is still alive for a touchdown. It seems like if they are going to get a touchdown, it's going to go to him.
Yeah,
Through the wide receiver position. Seems like Ward really looks to him in the red zone. Yeah, I don't hate it. 3,900.
I don't either. I don't either.
He's a flyer. He's a Millie Maker flyer. Like
Yeah,
I would not get like more than 5% of those type of guys, in my player pool.
yeah.
But yeah. Who else? I had Trey Tucker on this list as well as a 1-star.
Hey man, you made me you put me in a good position with him last. I can't hate on that. But look at his salary's gone up, hasn't it? Oh yeah,
Yeah, it went up $300 at 4% ownership though. I don't hate it, man. Trey Tucker, he's the wide receiver 1 in my opinion in that offense. I don't think Jacoby Myers is a wide receiver 1. I think Tucker's probably the better receiver there. No Bowers this week either, so I don't hate that in a good game environment. And yeah, against Tennessee's terrible defense, I kind of like Genty better. I like him running, in a running back situation there at home.
Yeah, he was one of the 4. He was one of my 4 running backs. I had Dowdle, Judkins, White, and Genty. So definitely.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't mention Genty because I kind of figured everybody would, kind of take that. Yeah. I mean, him, CMC, and Jonathan Taylor are kind of like my, those are the top tiers, and they should be played a lot. So you don't want to never not play those guys. Yeah, tight end, and we'll finish this thing up, buddy. Who do you got?
Okay, so we're gonna go a little bit contrary, and then we'll go to the more expected. I mean, I like Hunter Henry. I don't know what his ownership is. 43, 5%. Yep, 4. Yep.
Awesome value too.
If you like Drake May, I mean, he's his target in the red zone. If you like Drake May.
Yeah, I think Hunter Henry. I got him as a 2-star. So yeah, Hunter Henry is one of my top guys this week. I'll counteract you there with a cheaper receiver, tight end that I think could put up some production this week at lower ownership. David Njoku at $3,500, 3% ownership.
Man, I cannot argue. I drafted him in fantasy, and I've been so happy that Gabriel took over.
What was last week? Njoku's he got like 18 fantasy points last week, I think.
Yeah, he got that late touchdown and 9 targets. Yeah, with Gabriel's obviously an upgrade over old man Flacco.
Right, and Gabriel's not going to sling it down the field. He's going to check down to his tight end a lot.
Yeah.
I like Njoku. I like Fannin. Both of those. I think this week, and this is a contrarian take in itself, if you want to get different and Millie Maker type stuff this week, I think this is a 2 tight end type of week.
Ooh.
I'm seeing a lot of value there, a lot more in receiver than in receivers. If I had to give you an example, it would be a David Njoku at $3,500. It would be a Darren Waller at $4K.
Yeah.
Tucker Kraft at $4,700. You're just not finding a receiver in that value range with that touchdown equity, right?
What are your thoughts on Ferguson, who just looked amazing?
Yeah, he's a given. Yeah, Ferguson's my top receiver. He will be until CeeDee Lamb gets back.
Yeah.
He's the number 1 receiver on that team. Dak is just absolutely unloading on him, and I don't plan for them to stop. He's Ferguson's awesome. I'll play him every week. What about Warren spinning up a little bit? 17% ownership.
Yeah, I mentioned him on our last show. I mean, he's gotten double-digit fantasy points in 4 out of 5 games, and the lowest amount of targets is 4. So, I mean, he got a rush, right? I think he got one play. He rushed a couple of times.
He got a rushing touchdown, yes. Stole it from
what was that?
JT28. So, what do you think about going Warren without playing a Taylor? I think he's good leverage. Well, not really. He's 17%. JT's 19. So, not too much leverage there, but I do like it. I think the Daniel Jones, if you didn't like the game, I mean, if you didn't like the running aspect there, you could go with a Daniel Jones, Warren, and a Pittman. I had Pittman as a 1-star receiver too this week, along with Downs. Downs is at $4,300, so he's a flyer too. Forgot to mention him.
Yeah, I don't have any problems with Warren, especially if you get in a pinch and you can't afford Ferguson, but you got a little bit extra guap and you want to pass on Henry. Go
All right.
down.
Yeah, I don't hate that either, man. What do you think about going with like the Stoneman? And this is going to be nasty, and I'll say it every week. And he's due to pop. He's so due, for some touchdown equity here. Elijah Arroyo at $2,600. I loved him last week. He didn't do me anything. I was on the wrong tight end. But I do like Elijah Arroyo. I think he's the big body receiver that they need other than JSN. Jump balls, 50-50 balls. He's more of a receiver than Barner. At $2,600, I don't hate it. Stoneman, no ownership. In a spot where you think if this Jacksonville defense is vulnerable in one area, it's deep shots and tight ends. And we've seen that week in and week out. We've seen last week with Kelsey going for 20, a resurgence from Kelsey. I think Arroyo could be in shape for like a 14-point game.
Arroyo is definitely. He seems like a showdown player, but he also seems like a slate breaker. Like he could just bust the slate wide open. But I would love him on showdown.
That's what got me on him, was watching that Cardinals game. I was like, wow, they're really looking to get him the ball. They want to get this guy involved more, and I'm kind of banking on that. I think as the season progresses, they will. But Arroyo at $2,600, probably my favorite GPP flyer. But if you had to rank your tight ends, go 1 to 4, how would you rank them? Because some people say that I play too many tight ends, but literally you can play like 4 tight ends a week and be okay because they all score about the same week in to week out.
Yeah, I don't want to overthink it. So I'm saying Waller number 1, Ferguson number 2, Henry number 3, and I like your Njoku pick number 4. So
okay,
Waller, Ferguson, Henry, Njoku.
Waller. Okay. Yeah, I like my favorite is Njoku at $3,500, just price. Price wise, because in a week I'm searching for, that extra $500 can go a long way this week. Njoku at $3,500 is probably my favorite play on the slate, tight end wise. Second would be Hunter Henry. Third would be Waller. And fourth would be Tucker Kraft. And you can tie Jake Ferguson in with the Njokus at number 1. He's kind of a given, so I don't want to, say he's a smash spot, but he is a smash spot at 16% ownership. But like I said, I don't hate double tight ends. So if you want to get weird with these tight ends, you can run a Tyler Warren with a Njoku, or a Ferguson with a Njoku, or a Ferguson with a Warren. Like, that's in the range of outcomes. We've seen these guys put up 20-point weeks before. You know what I mean? Like, Ferguson's done it. Warren seems to get 14 to 17 fantasy points every week. So don't hate double tight end this week. It's so cheap. You're getting better value at tight end.
Now I got the optimizers. When I make my lineups, I look at people like you and I have my own little thing, but I look at the optimizers. The optimizers love Long for Jacksonville. What are your thoughts about that?
Yeah, he's cheap.
Stone Cold, because
$2,600 too. Yeah. He was on the list when I made my first video, my first look video this week.
Okay.
What's he at?
2,500, man. Stone Cold minimum.
What's his name again? Shoot.
Long. What's his name? Hunter Long.
Hunter Long.
Yeah,
did he used to play for New England? I feel like
probably.
$2,500, 3%. Yeah. No Strange. Everybody knows I hate Brenton Strange, but I don't mind Hunter Long though at $2,500. Like, if you wanted to get weird and like play like an Arroyo with a Hunter Long, like just 2 cheese balls. Well, I mean, if you're wanting to play studs, like if you think Puka Nacua goes for 40 and you think that JT goes for 40, like, you're going to have to. Like, you have no other option. And I wouldn't punt with a receiver in that range. You know what I mean?
like I said, we've all seen the winning lineups. It's not just gonna be boop boop boop. No, it's gonna be something like this.
Yeah, emphasize that a little bit about I always say this a lot. I think your inputs, your ball knowledge is so much more valuable than anything. Like, of course, every optimizer is going to try to sell you on why their optimizer is the greatest. Like, that's what they're in the business to do. Um, you know, but I do think that your input and your like I personally like I'll use the optimizer for like 150 sets and that's it. Like I don't put like I hand build all of
Yep.
my lineups. Like my single entry is a hand build.
Yep.
My 20 maxers are hand builds, you know what I mean? Like the $50 spy, like I'm gonna hand build that because I feel like I got a better read off of my
Yep.
projections versus their projections, and I don't always follow their projections anyways. Um, yeah. So what do you think about just, it's not a plug and play type of thing, and I think that gets, distracted in DFS a lot. Is that it's kind of this one pill, you take it and, you're raking in all the money, and that's furthest thing
Nope.
from the truth.
No, no. I'm actually in my real life, my real job. I work with statistics and models, and I know that people love them. At my job, they just love all that stuff. But at the end of the day, a lot of times it's just that human element. This notebook right here, it's that knowledge and that's like that is the difference maker.
That's
Yeah,
that I have a notebook, like,
yeah,
yeah, I'm journaling my thoughts from week in and week out too to
yeah,
kinda reflect on what I could have done better. Like, I think that's valuable too. Kinda think if you done really good on a slate, like, what was your brain thinking, like, heading into that slate? You know what I mean? And try to replicate that. Like, that's the optimizers will only give you what the algorithm decides, and most of that is price adjusted with the ownership and account, which
yeah.
is what I do anyways with a hand build. But are you going to get to a Elijah Arroyo in an
No,
optimizer? Probably
never,
not. You know what I mean?
never.
And those are the weird plays that, usually kind of take down. Last week was AJ Barner. That was the nuts tight end. I was just on the wrong tight end. It's going to haunt me.
It is.
I, yeah, but I think that's a really good point, Walter. And yeah, I agree totally with you. I think hand building scenarios is probably your best bet.
Yeah,
With
I just
I'm
like
not
to see
saying
what
not to use
everybody's
an
talking
optimizer.
about. I'm like, okay, what is everybody talking about? And it's like, okay, that's what everybody's talking about. Very, very sure. Oh, that's what it thinks. It's very, but to me, it's just like, okay, I appreciate that because there are sometimes when if you're in too much of a bubble, you'll miss something, and you're like, oh man, like I told you, I was distracted yesterday with playing softball, and I missed little Jordan Humphreys because I was so dang distracted. So yeah,
Right. Yeah, that's my cousin, Lil Jordan Humphreys. That's my cousin. So shout out to Lil Jordan. That dude freaking ate on the Broncos, and that's why I
he
loved
did.
him yesterday. I remember that dude like going nuts for like 2 games,
Yeah.
and that was it. But he did go nuts for 2 games. He kind
He
of
played
went
for the
nuts
Saints
last
too,
night.
right? He played for the Saints and had a good game or two, I think, right?
Yeah,
Or did
last year. Yeah, he got
Yep.
cut. He got kicked off or not cut. I think he just got dropped by the
Okay.
Broncos and then headed to the Saints. But yeah,
Yep.
you got anything else to add to this week's slate? What's your favorite game? And then we'll get out of here.
Favorite game. It's funny, all the good games are in prime time or on Monday, right? the
Oh my
best game.
gosh. Yeah, what do we got Sunday night? We got the Lions versus the Chiefs in Kansas City.
Beautiful.
Are they
Beautiful.
gonna get a little resurgence of what happened 2 years ago when Dan Campbell went down there and just put it to them?
Yeah, man. I think
Opening year too. You remember that was an awesome game.
I think the Lions are gonna win that. On the main slate, my favorite game. I don't know, man. I like this Dallas Carolina. I mean, I know it's kind of duh. That's what Vegas is saying as well, but I like the Dallas and Carolina game. What about you?
Yeah, I think my favorite stand though this week is probably this San Francisco and Tampa Bay game.
Yep.
Um, and if I had to rank them 1 through 4, I would say San Fran game, this Darnold game, and then the Cowboys game. And then you could either say hand for hand the Green Bay game or the Dolphins game. I just won't have much of the Browns game other than Flacco.
Yeah.
Nothing on Rodgers' side. Probably not a lot of this Ravens team. Not really too interested in the Colts and Cardinals other than JT. So yeah, everything else is kind of a blur. What's your sneakiest game of this week, though?
Sneakiest game of the week. I'm looking on my second screen. I mean, I guess the sneaky game is ugly and is nasty, but New England versus New Orleans. I mean, I know because I mean those are the kind of games that kind of stick away. Who knew that New England? We're gonna find out. I mean, what's up with that?
Right.
I mean, you beat the Bills, so and then New Orleans, it's not as terrible. I mean, they lose a lot, but they're not. I mean, they beat the Giants, and the Giants beat the Eagles. So obviously, the Saints are better than the Eagles, right? That's the
anything can happen on any given Sunday. You know what I mean? I think the Saints were at 4.5 when I grabbed them earlier this week. I went ahead and took them to cover that. I think it's a field goal. This game probably decides by a field goal. But my sneakiest on this week, if I'm not going to this Raiders and Titans game, I'm going to the Green Bay and Bengals team. I just don't think a lot of ownership's going to reside other than Josh Jacobs, which I don't. I find Dobbs and Wicks and Tucker Kraft more fun, along with Flacco. I don't know why I said the Browns game. That's not Flacco anymore. The Bengals Flacco. I think Flacco could push him a little bit. So my sneaky game of the week is probably that Green Bay Bengals game. Also, the Bengals now are at 14.5 points, folks. As we learned, even Josh Allen could not totally shut out the New Orleans Saints that thing closed at like 15. So yeah, anytime a game is over 2 touchdowns, you want to take that. I consider that free money. I don't care how bad the other team is. The Packers aren't that great either. So yeah, I like this game to kind of go over. Yeah, and I think this Bengals team is a lot better with Flacco under the helm, pass efficiency wise than Jake Browning. So I think they should probably keep it kind of close. I think they'll keep it within a touchdown, maybe like 9 points. But yeah, that's my sneaky game of the week, man. So you excited for week 6, baby?
Yeah, man, I'm really excited about it. It's so weird, you know. I'm a big Falcons fan, so like I can just watch Sunday without caring about my actual team. And then
it's you got a Monday game, man. That's going to be a good one against the Commanders, right?
No,
Bills.
They're doing the double Monday thing. They're doing
that's the Bills going into Atlanta, and Caleb Williams versus your boy Michael Penix. So that should be fun, right?
Yeah, man. It's gonna be it's gonna be Allen. It's gonna be Allen versus us. I think Caleb is going against Daniels.
Caleb's against Jaden Daniels. Okay.
Yeah.
That should be a fun 2-gamer to play.
Oh yeah, definitely. Look over.
I think. I mean, just thinking about it as it now, Josh Allen's probably going to be like 40% owned. I think Caleb would be sneaky there. Not to touch on it there, but I do think it's a fun 2-game slate this Monday. Yeah. So really good week of football, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, brother. So we'll go ahead and jump out of here. Thanks for coming on. Why don't you let the people know where they can find you and anything new coming to BraveBird DFS?
Yeah, man. Yeah. Once again, you can find me. Just Google me on YouTube. I'm old, so I'm saying Google. You know, but yeah, BraveBirdNews. Also, I've been putting out more shorts. You know, a lot of people just, you know, I'm older, but I have kids. A lot of people just like shorts, so you know, I'll put out some shorts like for Thursday night. I just put out a 90-second short. So trying to do more of that for the people that don't have an attention span.
Yeah, most people can't go listen to DFS talk for an hour and 20 minutes unless you're an absolute sicko. So we appreciate all you guys. If you're not subscribed to the channel, please go ahead and subscribe. This Sunday, I'm going to be traveling, so I will try to bring my laptop and be live on Sunday morning at my grandmother's house. So the mic quality might not be the best. I might just have to bring my mic, and I have my laptop. So I should be able to be live for, maybe in a half hour to 45 minutes. So we'll be there this Sunday before kickoff. Without everything being said, man, thanks for coming on. I'm glad to talk to you, brother. It's always fun chopping up DFS with you. Looking forward to this week. Hopefully you do good. Hopefully everyone that's listening does really good. Joe Flacco 4K. We'll leave it at that. And we'll see you guys on the other side.
Thanks for inviting me, man.
Yes, sir. See you guys later. Bye.